And it's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services in Washington, D.C., and also Canvas Media. We're going to share this one. Ran into a West Point graduate, that is Bob Bennett from Missouri. He's resplendent in his Kansas City Chief jacket and tie. Looks great. Bob, how are you? What did you think of the conference today?
I thought it was great. I thought the interaction that we had between local and state, and especially the federal officials, kind of gave us a chance to understand, number one, what the digital challenges are, number two, how we can collaborate to work on them and actually make a 21st century government responsive to 21st century residents.
Sure. The comment came through that customers have a high expectation, citizens of the website, for example, of the national parks maintained by the Department of the Interior. But cybersecurity is job one every day. So there's a lot of challenges now for the chief information officers that we heard from today.
I mean, their challenges are absolutely massive, and I think the opportunity today to understand that security challenge is consistent, and there is actually an economy of scale there where we can partner on things was absolutely enlightening, because that's a resource that local and state folks can depend upon. And I think that the opportunity at the local level to kind of highlight what other things need to be built upon that secure foundation was something that they were able to take away so that we can build something that works for all of us a little bit better.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about your company, then we're going to get back to your service in the U.S. Army. Tell us about what you do now.
So now I work for the City Today Institute. We're a collaborative of about 170 different cities. We run about 4 events per year in the United States, 4 in Europe, where we get city leaders together 25 at a time to really dig deep into the problems that cities are facing. And one of our partners in that endeavor is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So that was how we ended up here today. And that's quite frankly how we're able to translate some of those local problems into multinational and federal solutions.
It's always great when we run into a West Point graduate at an event, and we do a lot of work at West Point, certainly covering football. Tell us a little bit about your career service in the U.S. Army.
So I did my first 17 years as an artilleryman, and after I finished at Battalion Command, I went on and became a strategist and a strategic planner for a couple of different general staffs, and quite frankly, it was in that capacity where when I was looking at retirement, the opportunity to take everything that we did from a planning perspective and translate it into local government was something, number one, that Mayor James wanted in the city of Kansas City, and for my family, it was a chance to go ahead and retire in a place where my family had roots, and my kids were able to know their grandparents, and that was pretty critical.
What do you remember about your days at West Point? I'm sure there are a lot of memorable days. What stood out? How is it maybe a little different from it might be today?
I certainly think that the technology that's available to the cadets is absolutely different. We had Zenith Z248s. I think we were the second or third class to receive these computers, and it took a plebe like 4 trips to get all the equipment back up to our rooms. Where today I know a young man that is one of my interns at Park Hill South High School is now going to be a new cadet, and just got the guidance of what type of laptop he can bring and all the technology that he's allowed to use that he brings from home. And the greatest sort of transition he has to make is he has to give up his phone for all of Beast Barracks. So I think that ability to communicate with home and stay connected is completely different, but also the vulnerabilities that they're having to deal with. And my class is actually funding some of the Cybersecurity Institute there on campus to make that thing work.
Looking forward to the new cyber engineering building under construction. I think they're starting to build, put the foundation in for that building. Tell us a little bit about why that's an important project for West Point.
Well, I think West Point has always sort of been at the forefront of what's happening next in the nation, because we do build leaders of character for the nation in multiple lines of work. And so making sure that people look at the cyber element as a portion of it, just as you look at human resources, just as you look at staffing, just as you look at operations or logistics, that cybersecurity piece is a fundamental element. And we need to teach that at West Point, because our soldiers are going to have to be working with systems that include that.
25 graduates of each class now go into the cyber branch of the U.S. Army. Just final question. You made a pretty smooth transition from your military career to a civilian career. What's the key for soldiers leaving the military members starting out on a second career, possibly midlife?
I think probably remembering that we had to be adaptive as soldiers. There is no one who is more adaptive than a second lieutenant with a map, a problem, and no time on the clock to do something. Remembering what those skills were as you embark on a civilian career allows you to actually figure out ways to navigate any industry, and it gives you the confidence, quite frankly, to embrace new learning and to understand that there's a lot of people smarter than you running around, so you should listen to them. They teach you that as a second lieutenant, but to be confident and to share the vision of your bosses, and they also teach you that.
Oh, always listen to your NCOs. I hear that all the time up at West Point. Bob Bennett, just tell us, what is your class year and what's your class motto?
1991, duty shall be done.
Bennett, thank you. Great to see you. Thank you for your service to our country. Great to see you here at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Digital Transformation event.
No, it's great to see you. Beat Navy.
Absolutely. We did this past year. And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services and CAM Vets Media in Washington, D.C.